Hello everyone, welcome to 10th episode of Course Review with Kamath. In today's episode, I have with me Praveen Srinikethan who studied ASM Vehicle Dynamics module from Hochschule Esslingen. So, welcome Praveen to this session. It's nice to have you and hopefully we get
Thanks,
a lot of
thanks,
insights
Kevin.
about your course in this particular podcast.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So, firstly, I would like to know why exactly Hochschule Esslingen, this particular course, and how did you land up in Germany? Also, it would be nice to get a brief introduction about yourself.
Yeah, before I start off saying anything, I just want to say that I missed listening to that intro bit of yours, that signature. Long time no see, so good to see that again. And yeah, let's get rolling then. So yeah, I'll introduce myself then. So my name is Praveen Srinikethan, and I basically come from Bangalore in India. And then I studied and I was also working in Bangalore for a few years and briefly in Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved here to Germany to do my master's in automotive systems in Hochschule Esslingen. So, yeah, that's a brief intro about me. And I graduated last year. And right now I'm working in the Stuttgart region in the automotive sector. So, yeah, that's about me.
That's great to hear. But I see that there are a lot of courses in Germany from different universities. Was
Yeah.
there a reason behind selecting Hochschule Esslingen in particular and this course in particular?
Uh, yeah, so yeah, obviously when you just decide to do masters, it's like an ocean out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a million courses, you don't know what to do. I can tell you with respect to how I went about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already working in a German company. I was working for Bosch back in Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had an exposure to Germany and how it works. And I was already in the automotive sector.
Mm-hmm.
So my filters were already set from the big list that I'm going to search. So I narrowed it down to English taught courses, and then half the courses are gone. Not even half,
True.
70% of the courses are gone. So you're left with the rest 30%. The next filter I put is more in the automotive
Mm-hmm.
domain, automotive or software domain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that makes it down to 15%. And I also had another option open in mechatronics.
Mm-hmm.
So either automotive or mechatronics. So I just had to put these filters. So when I did this, you ultimately boil it down to 8 or 9 options after doing all your research. So Esslingen was my first option. This
Okay.
course was my first priority, and I'd also applied for a few other courses. So Kaiserslautern has this course called Commercial Vehicle Technology. I'd applied for that. Ingolstadt had a course called International Automotive
Mm-hmm.
Engineering. I'd applied for that as well. I'd applied for mechatronics in Hamburg and mechatronics, I think, in Siegen.
Mm-hmm.
So these were the courses I had applied, but luckily I got my first priority, and so I didn't bother what happened to the other ones. So, yeah.
That's great to hear. I see that since you worked in a automotive domain, you chose to also continue in similar domain and then probably start working once you are done with your course in Germany. Was that the idea when you started thinking about this or?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I also didn't want to study for like 2.5 to 3 years without really knowing when the hell am I going to finish the course. And that happens in a lot of TUs, yeah.
Yes.
So my priority was to get into a University of Applied Sciences, which is Hochschule.
Okay.
Uh, So I wanted to get more industry relevant knowledge. So that happens more in Hochschule. So I just wanted to enhance what I already had in the industry, my learnings, and also get more equipped so that in the future, in the long run, an added degree is always going to be a benefit. So yeah, that was my course. I didn't want to prolong my studies also.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, getting back to the industry, getting to know what is actually going on in the industry, you have more opportunities of it in a University of Applied Sciences, I feel. So yeah, that's why I ended up choosing this.
Okay. Since you told that at Hochschulas normally you get to study more practical oriented and industry related stuff, I think it's now the time to get into the course modules. How exactly your course module was structured and what did you get to learn in ASM vehicle dynamics.
Yeah, so like you said, ASM Automotive Systems is the broad
Mm-hmm.
course name. So within it, when I studied, we had three different sub majors you could do. So one was vehicle dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
the other one was car electronics, the other one was software based automotive systems. So all these three come under the umbrella of automotive systems, but you have these three sub branching. So I did the vehicle dynamics
Mm-hmm.
one. So yeah, basically the course module, or first of all, the differences is that all three courses, whoever is in any of these three
Mm-hmm.
courses, they're going to study the same thing in the first semester.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It's like first semester or first year in our bachelor's as well. So
Mm-hmm.
every branch studies
Yeah.
the same thing. So when you go for the second semester, that is when you get into your majors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I did vehicle dynamics, but yeah, I just observed right now. I think when I checked the university's website, I think right now they've narrowed it down to two majors.
Mm-hmm.
I think one is called vehicle systems,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is called automotive IT.
Okay.
But I think vehicle systems, I just
Mm-hmm.
skimmed the course module before we had our call, and it looked 85 to 90% pretty much the same as what I had under the name of vehicle dynamics. So it's, I think one module or something is new here or tweaked a little bit, but it's pretty much the same. The other one, automotive IT, I think it's a mixture of the two other courses, I think, but I'm not really sure about it.
Okay.
But I can get into detail about my course, which was
Yeah.
vehicle dynamics, or I think it's now called vehicle systems.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so in the first semester, you will have these courses, which all three
Mm-hmm.
majors are going to study. So, this course will also have people from mechanical background. I did my bachelor's in
Mm-hmm.
mechanical. You'll have guys from mechanical, you'll have people from software background, you'll also have people from electronics or electrical background. So, it is interdisciplinary. And then you major on whichever your interest is. So, in my first semester, I had math. So you're gonna have math, which is there everywhere. There's no escaping math. Whether you're gonna end up applying it in the real world, you may not directly, but you're gonna learn about a lot of systems, the linear regression models and the Runge Kutta methods and all these things, which you still study in your masters. And yeah, you have math, and then you have this course called simulation and control.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very, very good and important course, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because there you get real hands-on with MATLAB and Simulink
Okay.
basics. So, which is very, very relevant in the industry as well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to learn how to interpret a system in the real world, in the physical sense, and how to model it, so to say, how to parameterize a real world physical situation into, say, a simulation loop, or you have to transfer it into a model which the MATLAB or Simulink is going to understand, with which you can arrive at logics and stuff like that. So that is something which is very, very relevant. And basically, you're going to be studying about feedback control loops. So open
Okay.
loop, closed loop. How can you design various systems? You'll start off with simple traffic signal lights, automation, and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and end up going to an whole electric vehicle or something like that.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is a really good course. And then you're gonna have something called automotive system design.
Mm-hmm.
So here you learn about how a system in an automobile is developed, its life cycle,
Mm-hmm.
how the product, what are the different components in a vehicle, like say powertrain, for example, what goes into a powertrain of a vehicle, the details of it, and what is the software that is running the powertrain, for example, of a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the software design process? We learn about that B model development and testing of the software life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So those kinds of things. And also you study about the different bus communication system, CAN, LIN,
Mm-hmm.
FlexRay, MOST, and automotive Ethernet, and these kinds of things in very good detail.
Okay.
It's not like on surface either.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another course. And then in the second sem, we get into the specifics of our majors. So you have basically propulsion systems where you learn about what the powertrain architecture is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have engine control systems, which is conventional
Mm-hmm.
diesel engine or petrol engine. How can you get it? How do you calibrate it? How do you develop it? What are the different components? What are the emissions coming out? How do you control it? And you go in depth of that. And then you have ride and handling as a domain.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I missed out. In propulsion systems, I think the one part is engine controls. How do
Mm-hmm.
you control engines? And then you have also topics on transmission control and transmission system, the different transmission systems that are there right now, and the theory behind designing those systems and their control also.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just about engine. And then you have something called ride and handling. So here you learn about stability of a vehicle, the steering, for example, how do you
Uh-huh.
control oversteer, understeer, how do you say a system is stably defined, and those kinds of things. So yeah,
Is
that
it
is
all
another thing.
theoretical, or do you also get to simulate something in this particular topic?
You get to simulate, but not in this particular ride and handling aspect is much more theory. I mean, you
Okay.
have numerical problems that you solve, but it's
Okay.
on pen and paper, not
Okay.
so much on this one. But yeah, the other topics which I said before, you do have a lot of simulation. Maybe I'll tell it once I finish running through the topics. But yeah, ride and handling, it's mostly very theoretical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not theory per se. It's like numerical theory. So
Numerical based.
that's how it is. Yeah, the another aspect of it was suspension in ride and handling, where you just learn about how a suspension of a vehicle is designed and suspension
Mm-hmm.
stability, chassis stability, etc. That is one thing. So these are like the core vehicle dynamics topics, so to say. You get into
Mm-hmm.
the details of what your major is. Yeah, and then you have something called uh, automotive controller
Mm-hmm.
systems. So this is another topic. So here you will learn about ride comfort modeling. So this is more about modeling. So there you learned the theory. So here you are actually modeling all those things in, again, MATLAB Simulink models. You're actually simulating it in a compiler, and you're getting results. So you're basically developing a model, a feedback control system model, and yeah, this is going to be more of assignments and not written assignments. You will have tasks that you need to do in MATLAB and Simulink and get the output. But it's like, it's fun. Like, at least you see what's going on. You're able to visualize and not just pen and paper. Yeah, this is one thing. Another thing was automotive controller systems, where you learn about motor. I mean, basically, here you have an entire electric vehicle,
Uh-huh.
the components of an electric vehicle. This is also a very, very useful course, I would say. So, right from the battery, an inverter, a DC-DC converter, a permanent magnet motor, every component in detail, how you control it, how you get it to function, what is the software that goes, it's not just theory again. So
Mm-hmm.
this professor was, he had quite good competency,
Mm-hmm.
so he went in very good detail with MATLAB Simulink,
Ah.
prepared models about every theory that he explains. He'll also run a simulation of that, and you can actually see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be given assignments to actually design your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is another course. Apart from this, in the second semester, you'll have a team project as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and there you will have different topics. I think topics keep changing. I think now it might be more in terms of electric vehicles and
Mm-hmm.
fuel cell and alternative propulsion systems, I think. So that'll be something like a group work, and that'll take most of your time in the second sem. So yeah, that is second sem. And third semester is just, yeah, third semester you have master thesis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. The entire semester is for that. Apart from that, you have some soft skill subjects like international negotiation, project management, etc. But that is like mostly already finished in the first or two semesters, so that your third semester is already just for the thesis to focus on just that. So those two subjects are like soft skill subjects. Doesn't need that much effort as compared to the other hardcore subjects. So yeah, that's basically how the course is structured, I think. I went into too much detail. Huh?
No, but it's totally fine because I think students who watch this video are more interested in knowing exactly what they get to learn once they come here. So, from that perspective, I think it's very nice information which students do not have access to. So, uh,
Yeah.
the other question is like, since now you have already started working and also did your master thesis, everything, how easy or difficult was it for you to find a master thesis once you were completed with your 2 semesters of study?
Yeah. So I'd say it is not very, very difficult to get a thesis
Mm-hmm.
because I'm telling it from a company's perspective. For a company, a thesis student is a short-term investment. So he
Okay.
doesn't have the burden of taking the student
Mm-hmm.
forever, like to pay him salary, like for the
Mm-hmm.
next 20, 30 years, whatever, pay him benefits. No, for I'm saying in terms of a company's perspective, he's going to be here for 6 months. I'm going to get what I want. He's going to get what he wants. So it's relatively easier to get student jobs and theses and these kinds of things. But on the flip side, the number of theses opportunities available in companies are a little lesser.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like not just apply for one or two and wait. If you the more you apply, the better your chances. Simple rule. And there are good opportunities. Everyone did end up getting. It might take some time, but
Mm-hmm.
most of our batch guys ended up getting theses. So yeah, you will get it, but you just have to uh, apply more. So yeah, and for me, I think yeah, I had applied quite a bit, and I ended up getting my thesis opportunity in Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
I did my thesis in chassis control systems here on brakes and brake technology. But yeah, you just have to apply more and market yourself that you are capable of doing this. But yeah, thesis in general is you're expected to solve a problem that the company is facing, and the company itself doesn't know what the exact problem is. So that is why they hire a student to get a fresh perspective. So they don't expect you to know everything, but
Mm-hmm.
you just have to market yourself to be able to be the guy who can understand a problem
Mm-hmm.
and come up with some creative solution. And yeah, your university background and your profile will also go a long way in convincing those guys that you can do this. Yeah, so it's
Great.
not that easy, not that hard either.
What kind of career opportunities do student end up getting into? Since I see that the course offers a wide range of knowledge in different domains in vehicle dynamics itself, what kind of profiles do students get into?
Yeah, so like I said, I mean the course itself is automotive systems, so you're expecting to end up working in the automotive
Mm-hmm.
industry. So, but automotive industry is pretty huge. You have a
Yes.
ton of things happening. So with this course, what you might end up working as, or where you might end up working is, so you might end up in an OEM
Mm-hmm.
with a big car manufacturer. I know there are Daimler, Mercedes, Porsche here,
Mm-hmm.
and those guys, or a supplier like Bosch or
Mm-hmm.
Conti or Accordis or Capgemini or these kind of guys who are suppliers to these OEMs. So these are your options. There are a lot many more as well, which are like locally popular as well. So you might end up somewhere here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so your roles with this course with vehicle dynamics probably would be you would end up as an application engineer
Mm-hmm.
or a development engineer for one of these companies or in this domain. So in which domain will vary based on your interest, your previous experience, or where do you see yourself going? So I am in powertrain.
Okay.
So even in powertrain, you might be into engines or into fuel cells, into electric vehicles or something like that. There's a number of things. Or you might end up calibrating systems. You might not even be in powertrain. You might
Mm-hmm.
be saying chassis, something to do with brakes. You might be modeling something there. You might be a simulation expert. You might actually be simulating an whole electric vehicle in, I don't know, MATLAB Simulink or some
Mm-hmm.
other simulation software and analyzing the results and interpreting the data, what is coming out, and those kinds of things. So, yeah, you will be somewhere or even software development or hardware in the loop testing, software in the loop testing. These are all things you might get exposed to in the course as well during the project that I mentioned about in the second sem. So these are all very, very relevant things in the industry, which is going on right now, which is going to go on for the next few years. So you will end up in one of these brackets most likely. So yeah.
I think you have already explained a lot with respect to the course. Now coming to the end of this session, I have one question. What advice would you like to give the students who would like to apply for this particular course at Hochschule Esslingen in particular?
Advice. Yeah. I mean, I could say whatever was the lessons I learned after I applied. So you just do your best application, whereas applying, all the best, first of all. But you just make the best application that you probably can. Write a good motivation letter. Don't take it lightly because these things matter. People genuinely do scan all of these things and get someone nice to write a recommendation letter for you. Maybe your boss or your professor or whoever it is who actually knows what you've done, and try not to get a very generic letter like, yeah, he did this, he was good, I know him, and that is not going to really
Mm-hmm.
show that the guy knows you or something. Get something that has actually worked, you've done or something, and that guy who's writing it for you has noticed it, appreciated it, so that it feels a little more authentic. And yeah, what else? Just give your best shot in the application and don't worry what happens after that, because you can only control the controllables. Like after that, it's up to no one knows how these guys give out admits. Like the guy who has 9.7 cgpa, that guy might not get it. Someone
Mm-hmm.
with a lesser cgpa might get it. So you don't know how really this, like if you think that I have, oh, I don't have more than 8.5 cgpa, there's no point applying. No, like you don't know. You do your best in application. If you're having 9.7 CGPA and think I must surely get it, that is also not the case, because no one really knows what goes on. There's a multiple factors that
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah,
factored in when they're considering these kinds of applications. So all-round profile is also important. Having said that, yeah, it's a little bit cutthroat here in this
mm-hmm.
uni, is what I've noticed, especially in this course. And yeah, the number of applications are higher, and the intake is only around, the total intake for all these three majors combined is about 30 or 32 or something like that. So your competition is way more higher. So then they will have to find out differences on why to reject certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be CGPA, that might be your experience, that might be how enthusiastic you are with your application. A lot of things. So you don't know that. If you don't get in, that doesn't mean you're bad. It's just that there are too many people and there are just too little spots. So don't just apply for this and just think that I'm gonna get it, or if I think I should get it or something. Apply for more. That's always the rule. The more you apply, the safer you are, and the more you're gonna have options in hand, and later you can pick and choose. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Praveen, for joining us and sharing your insights about this course. I hope a lot of students help or get benefit from this particular video, and hopefully in future we get to answer many more questions from the students. Thank you once again, and see you soon.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers. Bye.